and I'll start the recording just in case. I did do this little mini assignment due now. You don't have to do it right now. We can just get into if you guys want to showcase anything you have. But I did want to have you guys do this at least today, and I'll tell you why. It's not easy. You know, I understand. You know, I do understand some of the student concerns talking about, you know, we're overworked and, you know, we don't get to see our friends and things are difficult and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I understand that. My goal is and will always be to try to find a way that you guys can stand out from your competition when you guys get to the real world. So part of that, in order for me to do that, is like I had originally said, we're going to turn this assignment that you did and turn it into an actual presentation, right? We're actually going to have you guys pitch it. Now, I'm going to give you guys about 10 days to do it, right? I'm not going to cover it today, but you're going to get probably up to, you know, 10 days to get it done, or 2 weeks, depending on how we discuss this today or tomorrow. But this would be just to brainstorm. Okay, so every single pitch that you've done, and a lot of you guys have done, you know, whether it's pitches in class or for us or public speaking, you know, you have to go in there with an agenda, right? You can't go in there with just really, I'm just going to explain slide by slide what's happening. And you are going to kind of do that. But at the same time, there's got to be one thing or two things that is like a home run that would really excite people. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So for you guys, it could be the consumer part, and then that's why we had actually the 3 parts of the assignment, or 4 parts of the assignment. The consumer side could be exciting for a CEO because you're looking at new product integration and new ideas. It could be the Department of Justice because as you try to grow your business, this is commonly something that you face. In order to avoid that, this is something that interests companies because a lot of companies will not do a merger or acquisition because if the Department of Justice blocks it and brings you to court, that costs you money, right? So sometimes they won't do something because they just think it'll get your business to be too large. And the last one's investors. So check this out. Can you guys think of any companies where investors would stop acquisition? And it happened 2 to 3 years ago, actually. It happened. 3 companies blocked the same acquisition. They all wanted to acquire the same company. And all 3 companies' investors blocked the hell out of it. It was the craziest thing I've seen in my life.
Was it Twitter?
Say it again?
Was it Twitter?
It was Twitter.
I knew it.
It was Twitter. There were 3. Now, can you name me? Is anybody else here? Can y'all hear me? We got a full roster.
I can hear you.
All right. So, can you name me one company that? Don't Google it. Don't Google it. Don't be a cheater. Don't be a cheater. Don't be a cheater. Don't be a cheater. Think of all the companies in the world that would benefit. And maybe, you know, maybe you don't like the Twitter platform. Maybe you do. It doesn't really make a difference at this point. You know the platform, right? So if you know the platform, name a couple businesses, and I'm not going to tell you what industry they're in because one of them is going to shock the hell out of you. Can you think of any that might want to buy, where the CEO wants to buy it? And then I'll tell you what the investor said.
I remember it was Twitter, but I don't remember the company. So maybe, was it Google?
So Google was a rumor.
Right.
Google never confirmed it. But Google was a rumor. That is very true. Google was a rumor. They didn't confirm it. There's 2 businesses that confirmed it, that they wanted it and were ready to make a bid, and then their stocks dropped like 5 to 10% when the CEO announced it on live TV.
Was Facebook one of them?
No, it wasn't Facebook. I don't know if you guys are going to get it. One of them you guys know really, really, really well, and one of them I've mentioned, but I don't know if you guys know them. So the first company is called Salesforce.
Right. Right.
Their stock symbol is CRM. I used to own them as an investment. I sold them because I had some good profit and walked away. I do that pretty often, too soon, whatever. So this is CRM, that's Salesforce. They're really a cloud software company, but they wanted Twitter to integrate into all of the services they offer. All right. Mark Benioff is their CEO, one of the greatest CEOs of all time. So I can show you how Mark Benioff started Salesforce. And, this is why, and some of the reasons why when, we have these discussions, and I know some of you just asked me, not asked me, but mentioned that you saw the, that there's students around school that are protesting classes. I don't know if it's just mine. It might be other ones. I don't really care. The reason why is because there's a mental fortitude and strength that you've been building all year, that you guys, right? The criticism that we've had, being forced to public speak in front of the class, being drilled when you have a spelling mistake, right? Being drilled when you write an email without a signature. If you come late, being locked out of the room. Like, there's things that I've tried to condition in you guys that just builds a different mentality than your peers, right? So when I hear you guys are boycotting because you're stressed out, I do understand your side. But at the same time, as soon as you guys leave in June, when you get to college, that's why I sent you the college thing, and that information was from a few former students at Bing and another student at Rensselaer, and then another student at St. John's. Okay. The issue, though, for me, and that concern for me was you have people like Mark Benioff that he built. This was his office, his bedroom, his garage, right? These were the places where these people started their businesses, right? Where when it got difficult, they still managed to find a way to figure it out. Broke, poor, eating peanut butter and jelly for dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, or just when, you didn't have the support of friends or family, and then, you still toughed through it. So there's a little bit of a mental fortitude that I'm hoping you guys build. And even through what you guys are facing now, and some of you are facing different things. Some lose loved ones, some lose cousins or relatives, some can't see, like me, I couldn't see my father-in-law. I can't see my nephew because my brother won't let me touch him because I had the virus. So I drive by the house and wave, right? So, and then I'm still expected to teach. I was teaching you guys every day while I had the virus, short of breath, couldn't breathe, and I was still doing my job. And I don't say that for sympathy or to think that you guys should care. What I say is that's what professionals have to do, right? That's what adults have to do. That's what the most successful people have to do. My goal for you guys is you become that. So any trial and tribulations you face, you will have to overcome. You cannot succumb to it, where it like you're stressed out because you can't hang out or go out or do this, do that, or maybe there's family issues, and then you're around your family too long and you're fighting. Believe me, I know that too. But you have a goal, right? Your goal was never to go to high school to like make friends or go to prom or be cool. Your goal was always like to graduate, get ready for college, get a scholarship, get through college, start a business or become a business, or build your way up to running a business. So that's my goal for you. So yeah, so for some of you guys, because it got brought up, it just, for me, it bothers me a little bit. If you guys have personal situations, please do reach out to me, and I have no problem with extensions or discussing what certain people are going through. But if your stress levels are just workload and like you're you're tired and unmotivated, I can't get on board with you there. I just can't do it. Because this is how you get to where these people are, right? So Mark Benioff started and worked in his garage, and the same thing happened. That's how that's how Steve Jobs started Apple. That's how Mark Benioff started Salesforce. And then, of course, there you go. That was the house, right? And then all of a sudden, these stocks are, where's the market cap? $150 billion companies. You don't become a $150 billion company by, you know, when something doesn't work out your way or you get stressed out, you fold, right? So Salesforce, he went on national TV. Do you guys know Jim Cramer on CNBC? Right? He did the whole thing in class where he's like, the Fed knows nothing and all the other stuff. Hi, good morning. Hola.
I said, yeah.
Okay, cool, thanks. Okay, so he was talking to him live on television. And while live on TV, he told him that he's interested in buying Twitter because how it would integrate into their software that they offer clients. Because Twitter's really good for free stuff. Like, Twitter's really good for free stuff. You can contact the PR department for almost any company and tweet at them, and they'll get back to you, and they'll DM you back and forth. Just ask James and Lux, or ask, you know, who was doing donations for NUapps. I don't remember offhand, but that is a great tool. Someone's got the chat window. Ooh. Katie, right? So Katie, like, Twitter's such a great tool for that. And, you know, to integrate that into like services would be clever, to have like a premium account. So he said on TV, Kramer goes, wait, you're interested in buying Twitter? And at that time I had just bought Twitter stock. So I was like, hell yeah, buy it. Let's go. Acquire Twitter, pay me my shares, get me the hell out of Twitter. Cause I hate the Twitter CEO. He's an idiot. And, the next day, Salesforce stock was down like 6 to 7%. So the day after that, they sold off again, and Mark Benioff came on TV and said, "Listen, you know, we considered the Twitter acquisition. We're still evaluating it. As of right now, it seems that our shareholders are not comfortable with it, so we're going to hold off." Now, this is the crazy part. So, Salesforce, Twitter acquisition. And here's why this is like insane. This happens in 2016, right? So then he said they're not going to buy them. At this point, Twitter was not profitable, right? So Twitter was losing money every quarter. Now Twitter is profitable. Twitter was like Twitter stock back then in 2016 was $17 a share. That's when I started buying it, actually, at $17 a share. Salesforce could have bought Twitter at $17 a share, right? In 2016, $14 if it was May 2016. Could have bought them for $14 a share. And then look at Twitter now. It's a $28 a share company, but they're profitable. It's just, he had the foresight to do it, but investors were really stubborn and obnoxious. They didn't want it. And it would have been a great asset, right? I would have gotten rid of my Twitter crap, which I still own some shares. I bought more, actually, on this dip right here. I bought some more. I got like 400 more shares. But again, now they're profitable. So Salesforce would have lost money with Twitter during the first couple of years. Then it would have became profitable. That would have been what the smart money did. The CEO knew he couldn't convince the investors. He didn't know how. That was why I put this part in the presentation, because I think that's so important to be able to communicate something to your team. He folded in 2 days. 2 days he folded, and I guarantee that Twitter's got a $22 billion market cap. You could add that to Salesforce; they'd be a $170 billion company, not 150, if you just added, 1 plus 1. So that happened to Twitter. There's one other company that was interested. Can you guys think of it? Everybody goes there all the time when they win a sporting event. Come on, you win the Super Bowl. Where you going? Hello? You guys go. What'd you say, Vincent?
McDonald's? I don't know.
No, that McDonald's. You guys don't watch
Burger King.
No, Burger. Yo, listen, Burger King. What do you guys like better, Burger King or McDonald's?
Oh, Buffalo
McDonald's?
Wild Wings. Yeah.
Oh, Buffalo Wild Wings. I can get down on some Buffalo Wild. Class trip. Let's roll.
Let's roll.
One. You know what? We'll all order Buffalo Wild Wings, and then we'll just have like a group dinner on Zoom. Hamza, if you win the NBA Finals, you're LeBron James. Where are you going? Oh my God, you guys really never.
He's probably gonna go to the 3-star Michelin restaurant down by the corner.
Oh my God, you guys are kidding me. When you win a big game, where are you going? I'm just gonna show you. There's got to be clips of it. It's Disney World. You guys ever heard that before?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to Disney World. I'm going to Disney
Wait,
World.
really?
Yeah.
Mr. Powers, did you call my name because you heard me say it? Or-
No, I saw. Yeah, because every time you guys speak, your name moves higher up on the chat thing. So I saw your name. So I
okay. Okay. Yeah.
So here, I'm gonna.
I remember
I'm gonna
Eli
let this
Manning
Dan
in
run,
that.
and then I'll play it. Tom Brady just said it like a year or two ago. But yeah, it's come on, guys, man, you guys are killing me. They say it after every single game.
Just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
You guys have never seen that before?
Yeah, I've seen that, but I didn't want to
We've
say
seen
it.
it. Just didn't cross our mind right now.
Okay.
Somebody said McDonald's, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, damn, you just win the NBA Finals. You want a Big Mac?
I was like, I'm off track. I was like, what?
So look, here's Disney. Disney was also in 2016 trying. So it was Disney versus Salesforce on who would pay more. And then Google was behind the scenes trying to buy them also. Google never made it public because he realized all the crap that Salesforce was getting. Disney didn't buy them because the platform, he said, evidently was nasty. But again, his stock also was selling off when he mentioned it. Now, imagine doing live sports and all the games being live tweeted. Now, you have Disney Plus. Disney owns ESPN. Imagine integrating Twitter live tweeting movies or streaming movies on Twitter and then being able to have those conversations, and only ESPN games can be streamed on. It was a really good idea. Again, the investors are the ones that pushed back. All right. So that was really why I had this happen. And then the balance sheet, the real reason we're doing the balance sheet is because of what is happening now in the world. So if you watch Bloomberg or CNBC, what's happening now in the world is everyone says you only invest in companies with a healthy balance sheet. Because if you have too much debt, the risk of having too much debt is that you realize if they can't pay their bills, how are they supposed to stay afloat? So do you guys know any companies that are bordering bankruptcy right now? I think there's 4 that. So J. Crew is one. Boeing's got cash, Vincent. And Boeing just sold bonds. They got money. I'm talking actually not a whole lot of debt. Let's forget the debt part. Let's think of people that aren't getting any money, right? So there are businesses borderline.
JCPenney.
Yeah, so JCPenney, Macy's. And then you also have a new one. This company, how many of you guys ever go shopping at Lord & Taylor?
What the hell is that?
Well,
What's that?
This is what the hell it is. This is Lord & Taylor. You guys never saw this logo?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh,
I've seen it.
okay. Thank you, Adrian. So Lord & Taylor, it's a suburban store for the most part. It's in some malls. It's kind of like a higher end version of H&M. You guys know H&M?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a high end version of H&M. They are liquidating all of their stores the day they can open their stores. You guys know what liquidating means? Brian
They're
Ing.
gonna sell everything.
Okay, never mind. Vincent already got you. So, yes, they're going to sell everything. Everything's on sale. So if you need new stuff, maybe go there, wear your mask and all that. Wear some
Are they
gloves.
filing Chapter 7?
They didn't file anything yet.
Oh.
They didn't file anything yet. Neiman Marcus is also looking at filing bankruptcy. You also have an airline, Virgin Australia.
Oh.
Virgin Australia is going through what's called an administrative something. What it is they bring in outside experts to decide the best way to keep the business afloat. Otherwise, you have to file bankruptcy. So there's a lot of companies that's happening to, which is why I'm kind of shocked the stock market's doing so damn good.
Because the unemployment means nothing to stock market.
It's priced in.
What 20 million people don't have a job?
It's priced in.
Guys, the unemployment number.
Guys, it's priced in.
It's priced in.
Bull.
Everything's priced in, guys.
Bull. I don't. Tomorrow, just tomorrow's due now is going to be the jobs report. I'll post it when I'm done, just so I don't forget. Tomorrow will be the jobs report post 8:30 a.m. It's just going to be, what is the jobs number? And they give me 2 data points about the jobs number, and then what you think the stock market's going to do. You should all write the stock market's going to go up.
Don't worry, Mr. Power. We don't need to do any of that. It's priced in.
It's all.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Okay, so a lot of these companies are almost borderline filing bankruptcy. But Brian Ing, can you unmute? Can you hear me? Bry guy. There you go. Okay, Brian, why would a company liquidate their stores? So we just talked about liquidation. Why would they liquidate?
Not sure.
Not sure. So why don't you tell me, so Lord & Taylor is like a clothing store, okay? Why, as the CEO, why would you put all of your clothes on sale? You tell me.
Because you have like no money and you're trying to get rid of things.
Okay, so we have no money. We're trying to get rid of things. That basically is the gist. Frank or Hamza, do you guys want to, or Joseph, I haven't heard from you either in a couple of days. You guys want to add on to that? What is the real focus of liquidation?
You pay back your debtors.
Man, Vincent, you are not Frank, Hamza, or Joseph.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry, his answers are priced in.
Yeah, seriously, that's gonna be the new phrase. I'm gonna hashtag it's priced in all my posts for the rest of the year.
Tell that to William. He spent $1,800 on puts and he hasn't made a single dollar.
Oh,
man.
Listen, I just sold my my calls on Pinterest, and now they're up higher than I sold them. So
That's
I
rough.
had puts on Tesla, and my puts on Tesla that didn't go too well. Okay, so the reason you liquidate is you do have debtors, right? You do have to pay off your debt. So the risk is that Lord & Taylor is going to pay more in rent than they are in getting profit from clothing sales. So what they're going to try to do is exactly what Brian said. They're going to try to get rid of or move all their inventory. That's their goal. If they can move all their inventory, right, then they can have some income, shut down the stores, not pay rent, pay off everyone that, or some of the people they owe money to, and then file Chapter 11, which is bankruptcy filings. So that is really the reason behind liquidating. Now, what happens? I'm not sure. Maybe they get bought out by another bigger business. I'm not sure what they could possibly or potentially do.
Wait, Mr. Parry.
Yeah.
If it's a public company, why do you have to pay back everyone?
Okay, good question. So, as a public company, if your stock goes to zero, right? If you file bankruptcy, your stock goes to zero, which means you lose your entire investment, right? You kind of see, now I'm not a bankruptcy lawyer, so I don't want to speak out of turn. When you file bankruptcy, you have to pay off as many debtors as you can. So first you'll pay off the banks. Like, let's say you have $100 billion, right? So let's say, I'm just going to annotate my screen so you guys can see. So let's say and of course, the school changed it, so I have to go put annotation back on. This is so frustrating. All right, so I'm not going to annotate my screen. You have $100 billion, not even $100 billion. Let's say you have, $20 billion. Well, $8 billion would go to your bond holders that you owe money. $10 billion would go to loans from banks. That leaves you $2 billion for, whatever XYZ debt that can be, whether it's like big investors. So who could be some big investors? SoftBank. By the way, so does this just make sense though, Frank? About if you have 20 billion, you can't just pocket that, right? And then if you're an investor, you realize, wait, they don't owe me money because I own the business. They're not going to pay me. So you start selling your stock, and then the stock starts going down faster. And then that's kind of, this is what happened to Lynn Energy. We're talking about the $10,000 that I threw after bad money, and it went to zero. Let's see if we can find
The oil company? No.
It was an oil company, but we're talking like 6 years ago. We're talking when we didn't even have an oil crisis like right now. Now we have an oil crisis. Well, it's definitely not this one. The chart definitely did not look like that either. Let me see. Lynn Energy bankrupt. This was in 2016. So yeah, we're talking 4 years ago. They had an $8.3 billion debt load, refinanced it. Long story short, they ended up not being able to pay anything back, filed Chapter 11. And I was actually hoping somebody came in and bought them out, so I held the stock. The stock crashed so fast. Here it is. So there's the stock chart.
Jesus.
Don't bring Jesus into this. He was not with me that day. He was not with me that day. Just trying to open the image in a new window. Open image, a new tab. Okay. So during bankruptcy, and now we're not like, and now we're way off beat, right? We're not even talking about your assignment, so I'm sorry. If you got questions, just cut me off in like 30 seconds. Everyone was saying how the bottom was here, right, in 2015. Like oil prices bottomed out, and they were bottoming out 2015, 2016. So this could have been a buying opportunity, right? So within a matter of a few weeks, you saw the stock go from $30 to like $12. I started buying it around $12, right? $10, $12, and it started going back up. So as it starts going back up, I averaged up, right? I bought more shares because the news that was coming out was good. Here's the problem. I wasn't you guys. I was stupid. I didn't know how to read a balance sheet. I kind of knew how to read a balance sheet, but I wasn't reading the balance sheet. Like, I'm teaching you guys to read it before you invest. So you guys do a lot more fundamental with technical, right? But fundamentals on the finances. So looking at I wasn't really big into looking at their balance sheets. I followed the wrong things, evidently. Long story short, the stock dropped to about $4 within, again, another month or so. At that point, the stock was so low, I had already lost $10,000 of like a $12,000 investment. So I said, you know what? This is when they started talking about Chapter 11 during the end of 2015. And here I was, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, now there's rumors of like Berkshire Hathaway. So you guys know who runs Berkshire Hathaway?
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett. There was rumors of an activist investor like Warren Buffett. Now, do you guys know what an activist investor is? No. Okay.
They buy investments for like social good or something.
No. So in a way, so right now there is an activist investor in Twitter. All right. He just bought 7% of the business like 2 months ago. So the activist investor is Elliott Management Corporation. What they do is they buy huge blocks of shares until they have like 8 to 10% of the business. Well, once you have that much of a percent, you can usually put somebody on the board of directors, which means you have one of your people making decisions for the business. So this would be and you do it low key, like super low key. Like all 15 of us form our own business, right? And then all of us buy a whole boatload of shares. Individually, we own a lot. Together, we own like 10% of a business. So then we pool our shares together and nobody knows. They wake up one day, we own 10% of your business. That's how an activist works. They end up buying big blocks of shares, not necessarily in secret sometimes, and then before you know it, they own a percentage of your business. Now you have to listen to them because they are like 10% to 15% of your business. So here's what he did.
Where do they get all the money?
Oh, these are activist investors. So here's your scenario. They were an activist at like $25. They bought a bunch of shares, and then they lobby Twitter to sell itself, or they push Twitter to make certain adjustments. So right now, the CEO of Twitter, Joseph, do you track like the tech side of Twitter at all? Any of my tech guys, do you track the actual tech?
Not really.
Not really. All right. Twitter is different than Google. Google is cutting workforce to save money. That's why I love Sundar Pichai, my man crush of the year, Sundar Pichai. Jack Dorsey from Twitter is very different. He's not cutting payroll right now. Do you know why? Take a guess. Why is he not cutting? You know, the fastest way to cut, like Humz's team, the finance team, your first job would be to cut expenses in this economy that we have. He's not cutting expenses. Do you know what he's doing instead of cutting?
I think it's due to PR. I think he wants good PR.
Yeah, so he's hiring, which means he's increasing expenses, but it does make the business look good. But guess what? It looks good to you and me. Doesn't look good to the people buying the stock.
So it's
So to me, it's a stupid idea. If it was a private business, do that. But you're a public company. I'm a shareholder. You have to do right by me. Don't just hire people because you want to look cool on TV. Cut expenses so that way the stock goes up, right? Don't reduce margins because you want to be a jerk and show off. So he's been doing that. This activist investor corporation, so Elliott Management, they decided they were going to get involved because they didn't like what Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, is doing. So they're now going to put their own people on the board of directors, and Jack Dorsey has 12 months to turn around the business. Otherwise, they said they're going to get rid of him as CEO.
whoa.
That's what an activist does. So let's go back to this image of Lynn Energy. I was buying the stock all the way down here thinking, okay, there was rumors of an activist investor buying part of the company and then trying to sell it to a different oil company because they did have some good assets. They just had too much debt, right? They couldn't get through the next 1 or 2 years of difficulty because they had so much debt. So I held it thinking an activist investor was going to get involved.
Like what Buffett did to Occidental?
Yes. So like Buffett coming in and buying a stock at a low price and then selling it to someone else, or acquiring it and using their money to improve the business. That's not what happened. They ended up having a tentative deal with an activist investor. The activist investor ended up bailing out last minute, and you can see the stock went to 30 cents, then they filed bankruptcy. I lost everything. All right, so it ended up being like 10 to 12 grand. So my message of how that relates to this, so I know you guys think some of this is just busy work. The conversations that you're going to have here, when you pitch this here, the balance sheet is so important because Lynn Energy couldn't get out of their own way of the balance sheet. Twitter's balance sheet is so much healthier than when Salesforce and Mark Benioff or Disney were going to buy it. It would have been a wonderful idea. Okay. Then you had investors that sold Disney stock because they didn't like the idea. You had a CEO that loved the idea at Salesforce, but he couldn't convince his own constituents that own the stock. And then as a consumer on Disney, I would have loved Twitter because that would have been, imagine, you know, Disney Plus came out in 2020. Can you imagine how much faster Disney Plus could have been developed if they started with Twitter live streaming things and started that infrastructure earlier, or the concept of streaming? So this is like real, it's conversations that you're really going to have when you get into the real world, but it's also interesting with you guys as people that are investing in stock. And yes, Hamza, Sundar Pichai is, I'm crushing on Sundar super hard, right? Here's a picture, all right? That's my guy. This is him smiling at me when I say I'm crushing on him hard, all right? That smile is specifically meant for me. All right? I'm going to make that the background of all my computers. All right? But again, so, and it's funny because like I do we're going to do this after this project. We're going to do like top 5 stocks. Like we're going to have a draft, like an NBA draft. We'll get anybody who's here. So let's say there's 15 of us. We will list 100 companies and we will spend one day drafting businesses to see who would have like the coolest stock portfolio. I get the number 1 pick. Sorry, guys.
Wow. Can we trade picks?
You guys do whatever the heck you want.
Oh.
Yo, I'm gonna trade for the worst picks so I can short all of my portfolios.
Okay, listen, we've got about 10 minutes left. This will be down the line. Again, so just a quick update. I did give you guys till Friday if you were not here Tuesday, so you do have 1 extra day. I do want you to do this today and just think of what is the best part of your presentation. Don't tell me number 5, the part about the investors. If you gave me 2 points, be specific. Give me the 1 part, right? Be super uber specific. If you really gave me 3 ways these products are going to merge together, tell me the 1 really crazy, exciting one, right? They're talking about Peloton today because they reported earnings and the stock is through the roof, and, you know, I didn't buy it. But they're talking about it, and they're saying it is the Apple of fitness. And William, in Finzone from the next class, he wants Apple to buy Peloton because Google has a great cloud platform and ad platform, as does Amazon. Apple is more still hardware. Apple needs a subscription service outside of Apple TV. This could do that with all the live fitness classes. So Google doesn't have fitness. Amazon doesn't have fitness. This would move Apple to a whole new dimension, right? A whole new target market. And Peloton has the same kind of view, like wealthy people have one. You know, the cool people have one. Like, oh my God, you have a Peloton? The same way you go, oh my God, you have the new iPhone? Right? When you get to like the Pixel, everyone's like, oh, cool, you got a Pixel? Yeah. What's it do? But if you get the new iPhone 11X Plus Pro R, everyone's like, yo, where'd you get that? Yo, what color is it? So that's kind of what Peloton has. And if they had 2 brands that did that, oh, forget it. Tim Cook would be my new man crush. Just because Hamza wants to see Tim Cook's face, there's Tim Cook, right? And that smile is for me. Now, your project.
That's the people's man.
What'd you say?
That's the people's man. Remember you said, I remember in class you said that he's a people's person. Like you said.
So that's the difference between him and Steve Jobs from Apple. Steve Jobs ran his company kind of like we run VE. Like it's aggressive. There's definitely arguments. There's definitely feelings that get hurt. There's definitely people that don't like each other because they're pinned against each other. There's definitely accountability when you don't perform. And that's what Steve Jobs did. And that's why they were so successful, because they competed against each other within Apple, right? To be the best sales rep or design the best product or whatever the heck it was. You know, Tim Cook took another approach. He's trying to be like familial, like nice, and that strategy works for him also. But he does it with Trump. He does it with President Xi. All right.
Mhm.
And I have no doubt he would do it with oh my God, I was thinking of Japan, but I lost it. Either way. So, but he's a people's person, and he has navigated this world so well. So that's your job. Imagine you're talking to these people. They don't really want to listen to a 5 to 10 minute pitch on this. Tell me the one key reason I should sell my business to Apple. Tell the Peloton CEO, give me the one reason. Right? Or tell Tim Cook, look, bro, Tim Cook, this is going to cost you, $12 billion, right? So Peloton market cap, I know I spelled the word wrong because I don't have one yet, $12 billion. That means you probably have to pay $20 billion for the business. You're going to convince this guy right here with this beautiful smile and these white teeth, right? And that jean jacket collared shirt. You're going to convince him to spend $20 billion on a bicycle? You better come correct, because it is not going to be easy to sell him on a $20 billion purchase of a company that sells a pretty bicycle with exercise classes on a TV. It's basically an iPad on top of a bicycle. That's all this is. It's an iPad on a bicycle. And Apple's like, yo, why the hell didn't we think of this? Right? And that's all it is. Your job, similar to this, for the mini Do Now assignment, would be which part of your pitch is going to resonate the most. Right? So when Mark Benioff saw Salesforce stock shoot down 7% in a day, and then TV was killing him over it, and they were trashing him. He's a terrible CEO. They need to fire the CEO. The CEO doesn't know how to run a business. He's just wasting money. He's going to put all this debt on their balance sheet, blah, 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 blah. If he knew how to communicate, that could have been a legacy investment for Salesforce. Because of what Twitter's already 50% higher than where it was. Right? It could have been if he could have convinced shareholders. But then he also has to convince Jack Dorsey of Twitter to sell it to him. Give me your business. Well, why? I'm going to pay you for it. Duh. Why else? Talk to me about, for the Peloton bikes, it can't just be, how many of you guys ever want to run your own business? Just type a 1 in the chat. How many of you want to start your own business? Could be an accounting firm. It could be a medical practice. It could be, develop a product. Could be anything the hell you want. Just, you're the boss. You're the CEO. Right? If that's the case, what would it take you to sell? Imagine any of you built this product from the ground up. When you sold your business to someone else, wouldn't you want to know what they're going to do with it? Like, wouldn't you want to know if they're going to, cut it up and gut it? Wouldn't you want to know if they're going to sell everybody that works for it? Wouldn't you want to know if they're going to change your vision? Right? So your vision was to develop this interactive experience for something. And then Walmart buys it from you, and they change the whole thing that you developed. And you're like, damn, I should have never sold it. So you have to pitch the owner of the business. It's not just, hey, Chris Miku, I'm going to give you $30 million for your business. And you're like, great, thanks for the $30 million. You spent 10 years building your business. Don't you want to know what they're going to do with it? Don't you want to know they're not going to screw it up? So you have to convince them also to sell it to you. So what's the most important part? What's going to resonate? Is it the consumer side? Is it the investor side? Is it the product integration that the consumer likes? Is it that, the Department of Justice is going to approve it because it's a great idea? That's kind of what you're dealing with. Now, I take this, Tyler, you're funny. So I take this one step further again to all these talks of not going to classes or doing work. Yo, guys, listen, you want to run a business? Straight up? My wife has been going to her office every day for the past 6 weeks with the coronavirus. With the virus. Barely able to breathe. With a mask on, she can barely breathe. So here's what she does. She locks herself in her office and she talks to her staff through the phone. But her response to me was, I can't be home communicating with my staff if I expect them to put themselves at risk in the medical office. So she goes in through the back door. She locks herself in the office. They leave her lunch outside her door so she doesn't interact with them. And when she's not feeling well, she just sits there and tries to control her breathing. That's how you run a business. She didn't see her dad for 4 weeks, and we take care of him. We watch him through a camera. So, I don't say that again I'm just giving you worst case scenario. She has 2 relatives in Ecuador that died from it because they don't have ventilators in Ecuador. I have a student last year whose father passed away. I have a student from 2 years ago whose father passed away. I have students this year who had family major impacts as a result. You can't let that get you guys down. So if you're here and you want to run a business, you have to realize life does go on. It has to. The economy has to go on. They don't stop. If Laura doesn't go to the office and run her medical office, her patients find a new doctor. Then everything she worked for the past 15 years goes up in smoke because she has to sell her business. Because all her patients leave. So I'm not trying to I'm trying to give you guys a dose of reality. If you're impacted by the virus, I feel for you, as many have been. But the talk of boycotting class, whether it's mine or not just mine, I really don't care. If you guys don't come or do the work, then your grades are going to be what they are. I have no problem failing people. But my concern is less about you failing and more about having the wrong mindset. The mindset to be a success and overcome obstacles, especially when there's so much technology, because hundreds of millions of other people have the same idea to run the same business you have. Kevin, Vincent, Tyler, Chris, Adrian, Hamza, you're all special. At the same time, everybody thinks they're special, right? So what's going to set them apart is the people, and I had this conversation the other day with some of my friends. The people that come out of this that mentally built a stronger mental fortitude are going to be the most successful, because there are people in here that are becoming hermit crabs in the world because they are so down and out and so depressed, and they're letting the bad news on TV and all these negative things really impact their emotional, social, and mental health. And it's hard to overcome it. But there is going to be a haves and have-nots when this is finished. Because mentally, emotionally, socially, and work ethically, people are going to change. They are going to shift. The people that make excuses now for not going to work, while a lot of people still have to risk themselves going to work, the people that are making excuses that can but don't go are going to find a way to make excuses for the rest of their lives. Because this issue that we are in now is now giving people the ability to say, I can't, won't, don't, or am unable to do something. And they are now going to resort to saying that in the future. That's my fear. It's like developing habits. I'm fearful of some of you guys developing those habits if you are those people. All right? So that's why I sent you guys what colleges are doing. They're doing pass-fail. And to be considered a pass, or pass no credit, you have to have like a D, which I think like a 70 or something like that. Might be a 65, might be a 70. I don't know if New York City is going to do that. Okay? I have no idea. No idea. So I love you guys. If you guys need me, reach out to me. Sundar Pichai and Tim Cook, Man Crushers of the Year. I'm going to get shirts made. I'll ship them to you guys. It'd be great. I am going to plan this draft. I know you guys have class. I didn't get to go over much of the assignment. I do apologize. I will make myself available all day. Shoot me a text or Discord or an email. I will look at anything that you guys want today or tonight.
Power.
Yo.
Yes, like,
Somebody's echoing. What's up? Hello?
Wait, Power, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What's up?
So for the assignment, I can't send a written submission.
For this, hold on. Yeah, let me edit the settings. It was crazy this morning because of New York City. So I'll tell you guys, if you're leaving, fine, you can leave. If you're not leaving, I'll tell you right now. And I'm updating the submission settings right now. Online text. Okay, I just saved it. Give it about 10 seconds. You should be able to write in the window if you reload the page. So New York City is now approving. New York City is now approving the use of Zoom, but in a specific way. So at Francis Lewis, we have our .flhs email addresses, right?
Right, for
I
security.
have to use that. I was using my New York City DOE. Marmer told us last night, hey, yo, listen, guys, you guys should only use your FLHS accounts. Every other school in New York City is using the NYC DOE accounts because the New York City Department of Ed wants to track it. They're trying to do something with those schools and everybody else. We're not doing that. We are the only school allowed to use the FLHS email addresses because we're the only ones who have our own email addresses. So I had to transfer my entire Zoom over to the FLHS. The issue was I didn't have a password on it, on mine. So my account says no password needed. The school is requiring a password. So even though my account, that's why we were going back and forth because I was like, I don't have a password on it. The school had a password on it.
Yeah.
So a lot of your teachers, if they didn't have a password, they may have a password on theirs now if they're using the FLHS. So just be cautious of that. If you can't get in, there's just hurdles, because everyone's got to kind of learn how to get this kind of rolled out smoothly. All right. Regarding your assignments, I think this that I'm showing now in terms of your pitches, I think is important because, and we'll talk about this a little bit tomorrow. I do want to do something different tomorrow if you guys are here, unrelated to the assignment. I'm trying to think of something could be a little more interactive and interesting just because if the assignment to do Friday and you guys are updating your assignment tomorrow, probably a little bit late to do that anyway. So I was trying to find something that we can do that's a little more interesting, that might kind of let you guys blow off a little bit of steam or laugh or have a little bit of interesting conversations and fun. We'll see what that is. Yeah.
Can we get more in depth with stocks and options?
So so here's my issue. There's things I need you guys to learn before we go, right? So after this is going to be, I want you guys to present it. Here's my problem. I have to give you guys 2 weeks because all I'm hearing is how overworked you guys are. And if you're overworked, I do want to give you time. But if I give you guys more time, we have less time to do certain things. So I still need all of you to hone your presentation skills. I have to do this because we're not in school working on this. Then I want to do credit scores, which will take another couple weeks. And then I'll get another complaint, and then I have to extend it by another week. Well, that's already going to put us into June. Right? So the fact that I had to give you guys 3 weeks for this when it should have taken 2 weeks, and again, I think these are going to be really strong projects, definitely. But the fact that there's a big workload from all your classes, I do want to extend the time that you guys get to work on them. But at the same time, if I do want to get to stocks and investing more, then it's a little bit harder because there are definite things I want to cover that I know you guys need to know when you leave. So I got a student, and this is why. I got a student. I don't know if you guys, I'm not going to say his name. Actually, that'd be kind of mean to say his name. He messaged me. He was a student of mine 2 years ago. He sent me this last night, and this is what made me, I was talking to Adrian about new things that you guys can do, right, that we can teach.
Yeah.
And he told me, and I'm just going to speed through it, blah, 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 everything we did relevant in life. Thank you, blah, 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 blah. I never appreciated class and opportunities. I regret it, blah, 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 blah. I want to thank you and apologize for not being involved, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I'm currently house shopping with my mom at the age of 19. I've got a 10-month credit score that I'm working on building up, and we've been using those tips, and I'm over 700 with a credit score. I'm putting 70% of my contribution into 70% of my salary into my 401k because I live home, and I'm grateful for learning that in your class because my employer doesn't talk to me about it. All right.
Wow.
Thanks for the tools, blah, 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 blah. Hope you're healthy, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, that was basically it. But so basically his whole thing was credit scores and retirement accounts was basically what he needed, what he got out of it, right? So yeah, for Hamza's dying to know more of the stock stuff. At the same time, I'm dying to get you guys to present better so you can have those conversations and interview well. And I'm dying to get you guys the credit score information. I do want to talk more about stocks and investing. I do want to talk more about options. I'm no pro, right? I'm a buy and hold investor. You know, I've held PayPal since PayPal was a spinoff from eBay in like 2016, and it's up 13% today at $145 a share. Literally in one day, PayPal has made me holy shit. I'm sorry. It's not important. But what I'm trying to communicate is that like there's a lot we can cover, but there's a lot I can't cover if I need to give so much more time. I have no problem even doing this over the summer. We could talk stocks over the summer. Like I got nothing to do. I'm a teacher. We could have a Zoom once a week if you guys want to just watch the stock market together. I'll be watching it. Might as well watch it up with you guys.
That sounds good. Yeah.
But again, you know, these are things that, you know, those are perk things, right? Those are things that, you know, like you guys that are here now, I'll stay in touch with you guys forever after school's done, right? The students that are boycotting or not being around or not submitting work, like they better not come back next year. They better not come back to see me. They better not call me and ask me for, you know, interview help or recommendations and things like that, because people show who they are in times of crisis. I want you guys to show who you are. And if Hamza's over here saying, I'll learn what you want to learn and I want to learn more, well, that shows who Hamza is, because the work Hamza did in the beginning of the year doesn't sound like who Hamza says he is today. Does that make sense, Hamza?
This is true.
So there's, you know, that's what I was trying to say. And that was our conversation the other day, Adrian, that I wasn't eloquently able to explain via text. So let's do this. Tomorrow, would you guys rather me come up with an activity, or do you guys really want to talk about investing, or do you guys want me to find some other activity that could be interesting to do? I was thinking of doing this, so I'll tell you what I was thinking of. I was thinking of doing like VE superlatives, where you guys tomorrow would help me come up with all of the superlatives that we can like create, and then I'd send out the Google form and you can vote who would get the superlative. And then like in a few weeks, we would spend a day going through, most likely to this, or most likely not to that, most likely to lose everything on, in the stock market, most likely to, go broke by the time they're 25, most likely to live at home till they're 40.
William would get all of those titles.
That's it.
You can't even tell me that I'm not.
William wins. So we can do something like that if you guys think that's interesting. Like, to me, it's clever, but I don't know if you guys really care about doing that. Otherwise, I can just literally show up and we can say, all right, guys, what do you want to discuss today? Like, what do you guys think? You guys are here, so I'd rather just ask you now while I got you here.